Hey, Soul Tribe. Welcome back to another Soul Saturday session. Today we are going to look at the meaning behind your physical pain, your ailments, your disease. We're also going to tap into the soul purpose, right? Why are some of these symptoms showing up? What are they trying to tell you? We are going to dive into topics such as autoimmune, thyroid, gut issues, autism, addictions, ADHD, and even mental health disorders. So please stay tuned. We are going to unpack a lot today. Feel free to take notes and do share this video with someone who may benefit from this information. Oftentimes, Soul Tribe, we know that there is a body-soul connection. We know that there are underlying energies that may be contributing or affecting us in the physical, but we don't often have the knowledge or the information to be able to heal. And that's what I want to unpack today. So again, cozy on in, grab a pen and paper, and if you do enjoy today's content, please do give it a thumbs up. Now, what if your body is not trying to betray you, but it's actually trying to speak to you? What if your fatigue, your tension, or even the symptoms that you have been Googling for months is actually a message from your soul? Today we're exploring how your body is the oracle and how to translate physical discomfort into spiritual clarity. Let's unpack what your body might be trying to tell you, chakra by chakra, and how you can begin to listen in a deeper way. All right, Soul Tribe. So the body is a messenger, right? Your body has a voice. Our bodies are constantly giving us cues and warning signals when something is off. And when we don't listen with our intuition, it will speak louder with pain, with dis-ease, discomfort, and even burnout. I love what Louise Hay teaches about ailments, right? That there's a metaphysical root behind every physical symptom. The body doesn't just react randomly, right? It responds to emotion. It responds to energy, to unprocessed trauma, to self-betrayal, boundaries that we don't keep, and truths that we don't speak. So when we separate our spirituality from our body, we miss half the message. And that's why it's so important to unpack some of the biggest physical ailments that affect us all on this collective earthly plane. All right, so let's go through each chakra, and I'm going to give you quite a few symptoms that can erupt from imbalanced, blocked, or lower vibrating chakras, and we'll look at the physical, mental, spiritual reconnect to help you get back to living your best life, Soul Tribe. So the root chakra, this is our tailbone, our legs, our feet, our colon, our lower back. Symptoms such as constipation, lower back pain, cold feet, poor circulation, and even cellulite can manifest in those lower regions, lower extremities, basically from your tailbone down to your toes. And the message that your soul may be telling you is you may feel unsafe, disconnected from your body or basic needs. You may be ungrounded, or there is fear of survival or the needs that we need to survive here on this earthly plane: food, shelter, right? We also need money, right? Most of us do need money to survive. So a lot of times when we have money issues or we don't feel supported in that way, we can manifest physical symptoms in our root chakra. So the soul signal is asking you, where is your need for stability, safety, security? And ways that we can heal this root chakra on a spiritual level: grounding ourselves, right? We've all heard of grounding techniques, walking barefoot, getting back out in nature, connecting to the earth. On a mental level, we can rewrite those fear-based beliefs about money, home, safety, security. We can reprogram. Emotionally, processing early life instability or trauma. And oftentimes, this is the chakra where we do most of our inner child work. Now, I want to go deeper here because so much of our root chakra pain goes back to our roots, right? Our childhood. And when we were young, if we didn't feel safe emotionally, physically, or spiritually, that fear doesn't just disappear. It takes root in our nervous system. And the body, loyal as ever, right? The body keeps score. It remembers. It still braces for impact when it feels a sharp energy threatening it, right? A sharp tone of someone's voice, right? It can even be threatened when there's those things that we need taken away from us. It can go back to the root of a belief that we have. And maybe it's been suppressed for years and years, right? It can feel like the rug might be pulled out from underneath us. So healing the root often means reparenting your inner child, letting them know, letting that little inner girl, that little inner boy know that they are safe now, that they don't have to be strong anymore. It's like talking to that younger part of you even before bed, right? It's like wrapping a blanket around your own shoulders. It's choosing food, rest, and boundaries that say you belong here, you matter. This isn't just mindset work, right? It's body work, it's soul work. And as you heal this root, your body softens, your gut releases, your legs trust the ground again. Support can look like or come from, as I mentioned, barefoot grounding, red jasper, smoky quartz for those of you that use crystals. Even hematite can really be grounding and therapeutic. And I always blend all of these healing techniques because it's a holistic point of healing, right? It's all of it, body, mind, and soul. Pelvic tilts and squats can be beneficial. Walking, eating those red foods because that is the color of this chakra. Creating safety through daily rituals. Maybe those daily rituals are you going outside and walking, right? That's very beneficial, and continuously doing that day in and day out. That can be a ritual that not only you look forward to, but it's very healing to that root chakra. And then, of course, incorporating daily affirmations that can support your stability or support your inner child. Like, little me, I've got you, right? You're safe. I talk to my inner child sometimes when that root chakra feels threatened, and I do visualization exercises and let her know, like, I got you. You're safe. You're supported. It's very profound to do inner child work. So if you have symptoms that are showing up in this root area, it's worth healing. It's worth doing the work. You can also say affirmations like, I am safe, I am supported, I am grounded. A great book that I've really enjoyed on the topic of the root chakra or inner child healing, is Judy Hall's Healing the Inner Child. For those of you that are information freaks like I am and love books and podcasts and all of the such. And I will also give a lot of referrals and recommendations at the end of the video as well. So the sacral chakra, this is our pelvis area. It is our reproductive organs, our hips. Symptoms can include hip pain, reproductive issues, urinary tract problems, menopause, infertility. The message here is around suppressed emotions, shame around desire or creativity or a lack of pleasure. The soul signal is warning you, where have you stopped allowing yourself to feel joy, to feel pleasure, to feel sensuality? The healing action here is really incredible because this is something I have done myself, especially because I was born 3 pounds, 5 ounces to a young mother. And the spiritual energy to heal the sacral is womb healing. Womb healing and water rituals. So first off, what are water rituals? We have water, right? The amniotic sac in our womb when we first come into this world. So water rituals are a powerful healing element. Cleansing, emotional, intuitive, and deeply feminine. I mean, we use water to bathe, right? We use water to clean our dishes. We are made up of mostly water. We have these huge oceans on our planet made of what? Water, right? So water rituals invite us to return to flow, to release stored energy, to reset on an emotional and spiritual level. They're especially resonant for healing grief work, death, rebirth, and again, womb issues here. So what are some water rituals that you can share or demonstrate? Salt baths, right? Salt baths, Epsom salt, foot soaks. I think is it Dr. Teal's? Dr. Teal's, and I put that in my bath. I love to be out on the water all the time, whether it's in the water, on the water, near the water. To me, water rituals are a huge part of my life. You can work with herbs such as lavender, rose, or rosemary, essential oils like orange, because that is the color of the sacral chakra, and set intentions. I release what's not mine to carry. Visualize the water absorbing emotional toxins and old stories. Drain the tub with gratitude, like flushing out what's been stuck in your energetic field. Shower cleansing, right? Most of us take showers daily or, a few times a week. And as you shower, speak aloud or silently. May this water cleanse my energy, wash away what is not mine, and restore me to my center. So oftentimes I get a lot of downloads, a lot of information comes through while I am in the shower. And chances are that's probably the same for a lot of you. Picture that heaviness washing off your skin, going down the drain. You can even add a drop of eucalyptus or lemon to the shower for a bit of aromatherapy. Now let's dive into womb healing. Now womb healing, also known as wound healing, refers to reconnecting with the emotional, energetic, and ancestral imprints held in the womb space. Even if you no longer have a physical womb, even if you are a male, you've come from a womb, it's not just for those who've given birth, it's for anyone who holds creative, emotional, or ancestral memory in the sacral chakra. And why it matters, because the womb holds stories, sexual trauma that may have even shown up before you were born, right? From your mother, from your mother's mother, ancestral. This can be shame. It can be loss and unexpressed desires. Unexpressed desire. It's the center of creation and destruction. We birth life, ideas. We also absorb that lineage pain. Womb work clears inherited patterns, toxic relationships, and body disconnection. So some womb practices, some of you may have heard of yoni steaming, right? The yoni is the sacred feminine flower, we'll call it. Herbs like mugwort, lavender, rose, and calendula are used to gently steam the womb space. It clears stuck energy and soothes the pelvic region. Now, this is not something that I've done, but I have had friends that have done yoni steaming and they have raved about it. So you can check that out if you feel called to. Womb massage or castor oil packs. I personally love to use wild yam roll-ons, and we can gently massage the lower belly in circles clockwise. You can use castor oil with a warm compress to even reduce inflammation. A lot of women have had struggles with their time of month, right? Their moon cycles as well. So using some of these techniques can help reduce inflammation and even increase blood flow. And same for you gentlemen out there. This isn't just segregated to women. You know, like I said, we all come from a wound or a womb. Ancestral cord cutting is another one. Visualize energetic cords connected to past partners, because they say that every single person that you are intimate with, you take on a piece of their soul energy. And sometimes you're carrying stuff that's not even yours, right? And that can heavily impact the sacral chakra. So visualize energetic cords connected to those past partners, especially if there's one that is visible in your conscious mind. Family trauma or even painful memories. Call in divine support and cut or dissolve the cords. There are practitioners out there who specialize in cord cutting. I've done it myself as well, and it can be very, very powerful. And when you are doing these cord cutting rituals, say, I reclaim my sacred center. I release what is not mine. Now, menopause is also huge in this area. Even perimenopause, which I just learned, this is something that can occur even in your 30s, right? In your early 30s for some people. Menopause marks a sacral chakra initiation, a shift from fertility to inner wisdom, from creation of life to creation from life experience. It blends into the other chakras as well, like the solar plexus, the heart, and the crown. It can trigger fear of no longer feeling or being wanted. It can be about not accepting the self, right? Feeling useless. This is a serious thing that women deal with. But what it's really telling us is it's a powerful rebirth. It's a powerful portal when approached spiritually, not just a biological ending. Power, identity, personal autonomy. Menopause often brings a reclaiming of self or a loss of identity if this goes unresolved. And that's where it creeps into that solar plexus chakra, which we're going to look at next. It can be about processing grief, loss of fertility, right? We grieve that part of ourselves. Youth or even past roles that we have played, such as parent. Making peace with the self and body, softening into compassion. And that's the heart chakra. And then in the later stages, many women experience a spiritual awakening, increased intuition, mystical insights, and soul purpose clarity. That's the crown chakra. So herbs to consider, and I love using herbs. I wouldn't call myself an herbalist, but I definitely enjoy the healing properties that many herbs have. So a few that you may want to consider for those of you that are going through perimenopause or you are knee deep in menopause: black coche, dong quai, red clover, chase tree berry, vitex, okay, maca root, maca root. I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing these correctly for you. Maca root, ashwagandha, and shatavari. Now, some of my personal favorites, I love I love maca root and ashwagandha. Those are really incredible when it comes to some of those symptoms like, hot flashes or night sweats, things of that nature, as well as mood swings. So for those of you that may even have some issues with your cycle, your moon cycle, look at some of these herbs. They can be very beneficial. Now, of course, see the disclaimer, see a professional if need be. This information is for you to process however you will, but do speak to a medical professional. All right, so mental support in the sacral chakra, reclaiming your desires without shame. You would be surprised, or maybe not, how many clients that I've spoken with who were maybe over 50, who had extreme shame around sexuality or, self-pleasure, and not being able to express themselves fully. Or they may have felt like they had to take care of other people's, specifically their spouse or their partner, their needs, and their own personal needs had went to the back burner. So reclaim your desires. And it's not just sexual desires, although it can be one avenue, right? This is about reclaiming your passions, reclaiming your vibrancy, your joy for life. You can journal. This is something I love to do, journaling old emotional entanglements or guilt. There have been many times where I've gone through heartache or heartbreak, and I have journaled from the very moment that my soul had contracted with that individual on a physical level to the very end. And there's something so cathartic, so healing about getting that up out of your chest, out off your heart space there, and being able to put it on paper. So journaling that old emotional entanglement. And that's why many people write memoirs, right? Many people write about their life story, which personally, I love memoirs. I love reading them. So if you have one, drop it in the comment section below. Let us know. I am in the midst of writing one myself. And then physically, we can use hula hoops. I have a 3-pound hula hoop that I think I got at Walmart for $15. We can hula hoop, we can swim, we can use Kundalini yoga, tantric lovemaking. There's many different physical ways that we can work on this center. Carnelian is a crystal that is very beneficial. One of my personal favorites. I love carnelian. I do have a ginormous carnelian that's actually right in front of me here. This is a big sphere, but I have many of them. And then orange calcite can be another great one for this area. An affirmation that you can say, Soul Tribe, is it is safe to feel. It is safe to enjoy. I deserve pleasure. Yes, you do, Soul Tribe. You enjoy pleasure, so soak it up. All right, we're going to look at the solar plexus chakra. Now, this is the chakra, one of them that carries a lot of energy. A lot of physical symptoms manifest from this belly center. The stomach, the liver, the pancreas. It's the home of the gut-brain connection. Often called the second brain. I'm sure you've heard that before. And if the solar plexus is weak, the body loses its energetic gatekeeper, which allows toxicity, both energetically and physically, to build up. Immune confusion take root, affecting multiple chakras. So we're going to talk about many of the physical ailments that sit in the center, but they do branch off and they affect many other chakras as well. Symptoms such as digestive issues, ulcers, extreme fatigue, parasites, autoimmune, gas, bloating, flatulence, detox pathways can become blocked, inflammation, hormonal imbalance, identity crisis, addictions. That's a lot, right? The message in this area from your soul can be, or from the human part of us, I should say, it can be over responsibility. It can be control issues, lack of self-worth, lack of personal power. This is something nearly everyone has or will struggle with at some point in their life. The caution or soul signal is, where am I giving away my power? Where am I forcing outcomes? Now, the healing steps. Spiritually, candle gazing. I'm a huge fan of fire, bonfires, and sun meditations and solar charging. So sit in the morning sunlight for as long as you can before you go on your phone, before you do anything else. Look out the window. Better yet, go step outside if you're able to. And if the sun is shining, let that sun soak over you 10 to 15 minutes minimum. But if you can, try to sit out there for an hour. This is something I've recently incorporated, and you've probably heard me talk about it, where I get outside for an hour every morning, 6 a.m. I'm out in the woods. I'm hiking. I'm near the water. And I am soaking up that delicious sunlight because it really does rebalance your circadian rhythm. It really allows your solar plexus to feel good. You feel empowered the rest of the day. And if you can incorporate that ritual into your life, it's a game changer. I speak from personal experience. It really is. So sit in that morning sunlight, hands on your belly if you can, and visualize that sun charging your solar plexus, just like you charge your phone, right? Otherwise the battery dies. We have to charge our bodies. Mentally, releasing people pleasing. We have these tendencies to people please or put other people's needs ahead of our own. We can also work on reprogramming limiting beliefs, set mental boundaries, release the inner critic. You know that journaling that I just talked about? We can also do that for the solar plexus, but sometimes it's called rage journaling, right? Getting it out. And you can even, if you feel like there's anger or rage, because I mentioned the liver sits in this area, and oftentimes the liver is where we hold suppressed anger, suppressed rage. So rage journaling, what are you sick of? Write it down. Emotional healing is the heartbeat of the solar plexus. And when we talk about this chakra emotionally, we're really talking about the healing of power wounds, buried shame as well, and the courage to feel it all without apology, right? Unapologetically being our true selves. This is where the gut and the heart start having honest conversations. Physically, we can work on our core strengthening through Pilates, through yoga, eating yellow foods. Yellow corresponds with the solar plexus chakra. Liver and parasite cleanse can be beneficial. But I want to spend some time talking about autoimmune, because this is something that so many people struggle with, right? I want to hold space for those of you living with Hashimoto's, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, fibromyalgia, or something that you're still trying to find an answer to, right? That mystery illness. Immunity is rooted in the solar plexus, right? But it's grounded in our root chakra and supported by the heart and the sacral. A resilient immune system needs empowered boundaries, physical safety, and emotional release. This is where I want to lovingly challenge a belief that many of you may have heard before. And the belief is that the body attacks itself. And this is what I am about to challenge, because that idea never sat right in my soul. Never. And I know for some of you it may not either. And one person who I found that speaks of this, which it felt so good to find another individual that also challenged this belief, and I knew I wasn't alone, is medical medium Anthony William. He teaches that the body is never attacking itself, that it's fighting to protect you. And that's what I believe as well. Your immune system is not broken. It's overwhelmed, Soul Tribe. It's inflamed. It's trying to eliminate hidden stressors, right? Often viral or toxic. So in Medical Medium's book, Cleanse to Heal, He actually writes, your body never turns on you. It loves you. It works for you. Even when it's suffering, it is working around the clock to heal. This perspective is actually way more empowering, I think, than the body is attacking itself, because it shifts us out of shame, blame, and fear, and it turns it into compassion, partnership, and trust. Not all thyroid issues either, okay, because we're going to talk about the throat here in just a moment. But not all thyroid issues are autoimmune, because some stem from like toxic overload, chronic stress, sluggish liver, that viral overload. A lot of viruses, bacteria enter, through the gut. They have that gut energy here that we're talking about with the solar plexus. In these cases, the thyroid is still under attack, but more subtly, overwhelmed by heavy metals, the endocrine disruptors, emotional burnout. The root cause is still a mix of viral activity and toxin accumulation. So keep that in mind when we do get to the thyroid and thyroid healing. And healing comes from supporting the liver, right, which sits in the center, cleansing the lymphatic system, nourishing thyroid tissue with foods such as wild blueberry. That's something I started getting into many years ago. I love wild blueberry and the effect that it has on the body. I actually learned, I'm not sure where, that wild blueberries can get destroyed in wildfires, right? Think of the wildfires that we have going on. Sending love to all of those people, everyone. But wild blueberries will be destroyed, and they will come back hardier than they were before that destruction. So think of that energy. Think of how empowering that is. If we can eat that wild blueberry and that's the energy that it brings in, think of what it can do for the body. So to me, it has been empowering. It's been a huge game changer. So I recommend incorporating wild blueberry into your smoothies or into your pancake mix, or, into whatever it is that you feel called, because it's just a superfood. It really is. Working with herbs like ashwagandha, as I mentioned earlier, and even nettle leaf can support. Milk thistle is a great one as well. Whether or not you have antibodies, the approach is still nourish, detox, calm the nervous system, and rebuild. That's what it stems from, or what it comes to, I should say. Next, addictions, right? I mentioned addictions lie within the solar plexus, and I've done a lot of research on addiction. Addiction often reflects a loss of control, a fractured sense of self, or an attempt to numb or escape inner pain. When the solar plexus is weak or blocked, soul tribe, a person may seek external substances or habits to feel okay, to fill a void, or to reclaim a sense of power. Now, this could be alcohol addictions. It can be food addictions. It can even be workaholism, anything that we overconsume to the point where it takes over and we feel like we have to focus on that specific thing or addiction in order to get through. Then that's when it becomes unhealthy or toxic. Addiction is not a moral failure. And we have that shame also, sacral chakra, attached to it as well. It's a soul signal that something is deeply misaligned or unmet. True healing begins when we restore safety, rebuild self-trust, and reconnect to our authentic, true soul self. The root, sacral, and heart energies start to align. When those energies align, we're able to heal this solar plexus dynamic around addictions. Other soul supportive actions for the solar plexus: spiritually, practice daily self-compassion, right? Focus on that self-love. We all heard of self-love. Nervous system regulation, energy clearing, mentally unlearn martyr patterns, like I have to hold everything together, or, the world is happening to me, not for me, or, a victim mentality even. Emotionally, make space for anger, for grief, for rest and joy in equal parts. So often we suppress those emotions because we're taught to hold it together, right? Remember as a child, go to your room and cry, or a belief of, I'm going to give you something to cry about, or children should be seen and not heard, right? So there's so many beliefs that we don't even realize have impacted us. And oftentimes we are taught little boys shouldn't cry, right? Be a man, or hold in those tears. No, that's not what we were ever meant to do. We are meant to express ourselves. If we do not, we suppress it in the body, which creates dis-ease and shows up as a physical manifestation. Physically, we can gently detox, right? We can detox with rest. We can detox the liver, parasite cleanse, as I mentioned. And I want you to know that your body is not your enemy, right? Your body is not your enemy. It is your ally. Allow yourself that rest. Allow yourself that sacred support instead of feeling like you have to keep it all together. It's okay to fall apart, Soul Tribe. I've done it a million times, but it's in the rebuilding, right? It's the phoenix that rises back up from these situations. That's where it's at. Crystals that you can use, citrine. I love citrine. Tiger's eye, lepidolite for the nervous system support. Moonstone is one of my personal favorites as well. And then black tourmaline. This can be energetic protection for those of you that may have felt like you've energetically been attacked in some way. Affirmations to go with the solar plexus. I am powerful. I honor my yes. I honor my no. I also recommend when this area is low, try something new. Step out of your comfort zone. Like eat with your non-dominant hand, or tie your shoe with, the opposite foot first. Sit at a new area of your dining table. Go out to a restaurant and try new food instead of getting the same old. You can even learn something new, like learn how to back up a trailer. That's a tricky one, by the way, but it's manageable. It's going to empower you. And as your willingness to grow and learn shows up more through trying some of these things that get you out of that comfort zone, you're going to signal to the universe that you are powerful. You're free to do and become any version of yourself that you wish to be. So work on that solar plexus. It's worth it. And that, again, is one of the biggest chakras that we have issues with. Next, we are looking at the heart chakra, the heart, the lungs, the upper back. Symptoms around chest tightness, depression, anxiety, lung conditions, shoulder pain, also known as frozen shoulder. The message can be around unresolved grief, blocked compassion, lack of self-love, or resentments, bitterness. The soul signal is, where have you closed your heart to love? Where have you closed your self-love off, or to others? Healing action, something you may have heard, the Ho'oponopono prayer. It's a Hawaiian prayer of deep soul healing. The meaning is to make right twice, first within the self, then with others. This practice is used for clearing energy, forgiveness, and soul restoration. It's incredibly simple, but spiritually potent. Used when you're holding on to pain, shame, regret, or even when you're trying to heal relationships, trauma, or ancestral patterns. And the 4 sacred phrases of this prayer are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. That's it. Start to incorporate that into your rituals for self-love, but also for healing. I want you to think about the person that you may have some of those ties with, some of the anger, some of the resentments. And I want you to work on that prayer. It's going to help you. It'll help you a lot. Another one of my personal favorites, and if you're a client of mine, most likely I've recommended this because I feel like it is so incredibly profound. And a lot of these Most of them, 99%, I have tried myself. That's why, excuse me, that's why I'm recommending them. Aside from the yoni steaming, right, which I'll probably do at some point or another, but is mirror work. All right, mirror work. Speak love to yourself. Louise Hay has a great book called Mirror Work. And, you know, when we look at ourselves in the mirror and we look into into our eyes, and we connect to that sacred portal, that window to our soul, and we start to talk to ourselves with compassion and kindness. I always recommend a full-length mirror, butt naked. You know, stand in front of it, because chances are there's probably something on your body that you may struggle to love at times. And this is a great opportunity for you to become aware, become vulnerable, and to offer yourself that grace, offer yourself forgiveness. And instead of pointing a finger at a certain area that you dislike, right? Maybe it's your legs, right? Maybe it's your legs. And instead of focusing on the flaws or the imperfections, give thanks to your legs for supporting you, for being able to help you get up each morning and to get out of bed and to have those legs to walk. Right? So start to appreciate all of your body, all of those perfectly imperfect parts of yourself, soul tribe. So mirror work is profound. Emotionally, let yourself grieve, especially losses that you never acknowledge. You know, we save grief for funerals or physical death, but really, we are grieving the loss of a marriage. We're grieving when our children leave the home and we become empty nesters. We can grieve old jobs that we've been in for 20 years. So grieving is important. It is part of this human experience. So allow yourself to shed tears. Allow yourself to feel. Don't suppress. Even if the tears don't come right away, they will. I shared this in a couple soul sessions back, where there was a time in my life after divorce and after some huge life changes had occurred, I didn't cry for 3 years. Not that I didn't want to. You know, I begged God sometimes, please just let me shed a tear. Let me know that I'm human. And when the waterworks came, they finally came in the shower one morning on my hands and knees. And I cried and cried and cried, years worth of that pent up emotion. Whew, just thinking about it now. But we have to allow ourselves to feel, because if we don't, it can manifest in ways that aren't always fun, right? So allow yourself to feel those emotions, whatever they are, without judgment, without criticism. Be kind to yourself. Love yourself, soul tribe. Also, gentle stretching and heart openers. Hugging. Hugging is my favorite. And I'm sure you all have heard of the 20-second endorphin hug or oxytocin hug, right? The bonding hormone eases stress and energetically aligns the heart field. So hug your children, hug your spouse, hug a tree, hug your pets for 20 seconds. It is going to help release oxytocin. Even wrapping your arms around yourself. If you don't have anything or anyone to hug near you, just wrap your arms up within yourself like a big cozy sweater or blanket. It is so healing, so very therapeutic. That's why heavy blankets, or what are they called? Weighted blankets, are beneficial. Some people really benefit from the weighted blankets that have suffered with heart chakra wounds. And then cuddling with animals. I know I'm not alone here when I say I love animals. Now, I have a tortoise and a hare. Well, the hare is my daughter's, and the tortoise is my son's. However, animals, not just cats and dogs, but animals are so incredible. And if you have a pet, then you know this as well. That physical connection with a pet is naturally soothing. Their nervous system helps us co-regulate our own. Stroking their fur slowly allows us to ground and open our hearts. And also, some of you may know this, but a cat's purr vibrates between 25 and 150 hertz. It's a low frequency range that's scientifically linked to bone growth, tissue regeneration, pain relief, and reduce inflammation. These frequencies are used in physical therapy devices, right? They're used to heal fractures. So when your cat curls up and purrs on you, it's not just affection, it's natural vibrational therapy. So soak it up. And energetically, many believe that cats are intuitive healers. I believe all animals are, really. They're drawn to block chakras or grief-filled spaces. That's why, cats that come lay on your chest, cats that are nudging, at maybe a certain area of the body, pay attention, because it's offering a sacred reset. A sacred reset. So use your animals if you got them for healing. And that's why they call them emotional support animals, right? Because they really are. Now, crystals for healing. Rose quartz, one of my favorites. Also, green aventurine is a great one as well. I'm just looking to the side here. I also have another one. I think this may be jasper, green jasper. You see that beauty here as well. Can be a really therapeutic one. I feel like that ball is going to fly off the counter here. So, and then an affirmation for the heart center. I am worthy of love. I let love in. I let love flow. All right, let's move up to the throat chakra. I know this is going to get a little bit lengthy, Soul Tribe. There's a lot to discuss here, and I'm going to try to get over, discuss all topics, but let's dive right in here. The throat chakra, the throat, the neck, the thyroid, the jaw. Symptoms around sore throat, TMJ, jaw joints, thyroid imbalances, halitosis, bad breath, and even cold sores. And even though some of these can stem from other chakras as well, this is where they could physically manifest. The message here is around words unsaid, truths that are unspoken, boundaries unheld. Medical medium says many people with thyroid issues have experienced deep emotional suppression, unexpressed grief, or betrayal trauma. And the soul signal is, what have I silenced in order to keep the peace? And the healing actions that you can take spiritually. Speak out loud to your guides, right? Connect to your guides. I talk to myself all the time, right? Got to give myself that expert advice. Mentally, write the truth that you never got to say. Write it, journal it, write it down. Even writing a letter, even if you never send that letter, go ahead and write it. Emotionally, express your anger or your needs. Screaming into a pillow. I've done that a time or two. Singing, humming, neck rolls. I want to touch on thyroid healing, because there's another misconception, I believe, around the thyroid. Now, autoimmune thyroid issues aren't caused by the body attacking itself. That's my personal belief. You don't have to believe it, but again, I believe that the body is constantly trying to heal. They're actually a result of long-standing viral infections, right? That thyroid. If you have issues with your thyroid, chances are that some of you have had mono, the Epstein-Barr virus. There are so many viruses that contribute to our health, and bacteria, of course, and even parasites. You'd be surprised at how many people are walking around with parasites. It's actually very normal. Not normal, I mean abnormal, but in this society, I feel like everything is abnormal. But thyroid here can be the result of a long-standing infection. The virus can go undetected for years, quietly inflaming and damaging the thyroid while feeding off of toxins like heavy metal, pesticides, radiation. And healing truly begins here with cleansing the body gently and daily, right? Using tools like medical medium, talks about celery juice really being therapeutic, and he has a great book called Thyroid Healing. Celery juice, wild blueberries again, lemon water, antiviral herbs, lemon balm, cat's claw is one of my personal favorites. And then drinking warm tea. I'm a huge tea drinker. I love my vanilla spice yogi tea each day. You can use also licorice root, slippery elm, marshmallow root, chamomile to soothe the throat physically and energetically. Add honey and lemon for a gentle cleanse. And then healing crystals like blue lace agate aquamarine, and even Larimar, which I'm wearing a Larimar stone myself today. And affirmations are around truth, right? Or you can create affirmations based on your truth, such as, my truth is sacred. I speak with clarity and courage. Now, moving up to that third eye chakra, the forehead, the eyes, the brain, issues around headaches, brain fog, sinus issues, even the ears, ear chakras, vision as well. It can be overthinking, spiritual disconnection, ignoring your own intuition. So your soul signal is, where am I doubting what I already know? Healing action steps. Dream journaling, dream therapy. I love dreams. I'm constantly dreaming and I'm constantly journaling them, or, I'm looking into them further to get additional information, because oftentimes, we'll receive messages through our dreams from our loved ones, from our spirit guides, from our higher self. Intuition games can be very good for you as well, such as in my career readings, my love readings, I have you tune into your own spirit animal or your crystal. It's to help you open up your third eye, soul tribe. So you using those intuitive games can help you strengthen your own third eye. Take breaks, mentally take breaks from logic and control, especially for you air signs out there. We can really get up in our heads a bit. And emotionally, allow yourself to feel wonder and curiosity. It's when we become so rigid, right? We tend to find that we have a blocked third eye at times. Now, physical energies around this, eye movement. You could just stare at somebody cross-eyed next time you look at them. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Actually do that. It cause somebody to laugh, hopefully. Lavender oil on the temples, candle gazing, get direct morning sunlight into your eyes. There's also controversy around wearing sunglasses. Now, I do wear sunglasses from time to time, but people say I think it's mostly due to, is it the wrinkles around the eyes or sun damage to the retinal or the eyes? But I'm not sure what actually is going on there. But there's something here about your eyes getting that direct sunlight that can be beneficial, like right without glasses, without windows, to reset our circadian rhythm, which I talked about, and feed the pineal gland. So we're going to talk about decalcifying the pineal gland through gold and mineral decalcification, because as I mentioned, pretty much all of these that I have mentioned so far, except the one, I have done myself. And so I have also used monoatomic gold, food grade, to help decalcify the pineal gland. Gold has been used in spiritual alchemy and energetics for centuries. And ormus, also known as that monoatomic gold, is said to raise your frequency and awaken dormant DNA and pineal activity. So you can also, again, use edible gold or gold infused spring water. So of course, do your own research on that. I think I had bought a bottle off Etsy many years ago, and I feel like it very much helped. And then if you pair it with minerals like shungite, zeolite, or fulvic acid to bind and pull out the heavy metals that can be due to like fluoride, that can help decalcify, strengthening and opening up your third eye chakra. Supplements with iodine, magnesium, vitamin K2 all support decalcification. All right, medical medium also represents, again, the wild blueberries, cilantro, barley grass juice powder, barley grass juice powder, and spirulina also. I'm not sure if I mentioned that one. Lemon water. These detox and nourish the pineal gland on a cellular level and align us with that intuitive awakening. So for those of you that struggle tapping in, you can also use crystals like amethyst. And I think I have one more here, one more ball, and it would be here. Amethyst is a really wonderful crystal to help you with that third eye chakra. Lapis is a great one. And then an affirmation, I trust the vision within me, right? Trust the vision within you. Another thing I love to do for this area is vision boards. I am a huge fan of creating vision boards. And that can be beneficial for opening up that third eye. And the crown chakra. This has to do with the top of the head, the nervous system. Symptoms: migraines, dizziness, burnout, sleep disturbances, mental illnesses like schizophrenia, psychosis, or delusions are often tied to a disconnection or overload in the crown chakra, where spiritual downloads become ungrounded or chaotic. There may be too much cosmic energy and not enough root to anchor it. There's our root chakra. The message can have us feeling disconnected from source, trying to do it all alone. The soul signal: have you forgotten that you are being guided, that you are held? When we go through life's traumas, life's challenges and struggles, sometimes we feel like we're left all alone. It reminds me of the Jesus footprints, right? Where were you when I needed you most? I was carrying you. Woo, I always get goosebumps. The action steps, spiritual wise, you praying, right? Praying is so huge. Stillness, surrender rituals. Mentally unplug, right? Unplug from social media, unplug from the noise. Instead of producing, we live in a society where we feel like we have to constantly be producing something in the physical, right? Just unplug and allow yourself to be still. There doesn't need to be anything in the background. You know, when you're driving, next time you're driving from point A to Z, sit in silence. Just be with yourself, with your higher self, with the divine. Meditation, of course. Soothing inner perfectionism and martyr tendencies. Physically rest. Soak in a good Epsom salt bath. Do Reiki. Study somatic therapies and the polyvagal theory. So the polyvagal theory, I'm going to touch base on this a bit because it is very much connected to what I talk about a lot, which has to do with regulating the nervous system, the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Now, the polyvagal theory developed by Stephen Porges explains how our nervous system regulates safety, connection, and spiritual presence through the vagus nerve, which is a highway of communication from basically, it's from the body to the brain. The crown chakra is our energetic bridge to divine consciousness, but it cannot fully open if the body doesn't feel safe, right? Think of the vagus nerve all the way, all going through all of the chakras, basically. When we're in fight or flight or freeze, the crown can't trust the flow of universal energy. We're too disconnected from the body to access source. To harness this, we co-regulate the nervous system first. Deep, slow breathing. I talk a lot about breath work and TRE. Getting grounded, safe connections, somatic safety rituals. Then we rise into stillness, meditation, prayer, or channeling from a regulated, open system, not a flooded one. True spiritual awakening is rooted in the body's ability to feel safe enough to surrender. That's what happens when we go through a spiritual awakening. Quartz, clear quartz, and selenite can be crystals that are beneficial in this area. And affirmations: I am divinely connected. I am a vessel of light. So there you have it. Physical symptoms for a lot of the chakras. But I want to talk about 10 of the bigger traumas that we may have. Some may be not as big at this time, or you've dealt with someone who's had one of these issues. And this is also based on some of Louise Hay's works. So I'm going to look at 10 top physical symptoms, the metaphysical root, and the chakra that it comes from. And there may be a little bit of an overlap here, but cancer. Now, cancer can form in any area of the body, of course, but generally cancer's metaphysical root comes from a deep emotional wounding. Unprocessed resentment, emotional starvation, unprocessed resentment. Did I say that twice? Someone needs to hear that. Hatred that eats away at the self. And this can, again, be in any chakra, but the ones that stand out are the heart, because that's grief and love. Also sacral, that's our emotions, and the solar plexus, a feeling of powerlessness. Colon issues, we talked about that. IBS, constipation, colon cancer even. The metaphysical root, fear of letting go, holding on to the past. That chakra is typically based in, again, that root area, safety, elimination, survival. Thyroid problems, metaphysical root, feeling silenced, not expressing truth or needs. That exists within that throat center, communication and expression. Lower back pain, that can be lack of financial or emotional support. Survival fears, that's that root chakra we talked about earlier. Migraines can be due to perfectionism, pressure, blocked intuition. That's that third eye, and also the crown chakra. Breast cancer, breast issues, including cancer. So this can be overgiving. It can be depletion, sorrow, and nurturing. The chakra is, of course, connected to the heart. Stomach issues, indigestion, nausea, ulcers. The metaphysical root, the inability to process experiences, and it can also be a fear of change. And that's why I recommended in the solar plexus to step outside the comfort zone. Try things that scare you. Eat a new food. Start small, baby steps, and then learn how to back up that trailer. Learn how to go golfing. Do something here that maybe you never thought of before, but don't be afraid to open yourself up to exploring new pathways. Diabetes can be grief, lack of joy, or sweetness in life, connected again to the solar plexus. Emotional digestion, as well as the heart, because that's our joy center as well. Lung issues, grief, sadness, fear of fully living or breathing in life. That can be the heart chakra. And then arthritis. Arthritis can be resentments, criticism, inflexibility. That also lies in the solar plexus, right? Power and anger. And then that root chakra, rigidity. Literally, that arthritis feels like we are, everything is tight, everything is restricted, rigid. And then autism. I want to talk here just a couple more. Autism and ADHD. Autism often involves sensory sensitivity, communication differences, and a unique perception of the world. Energetically, these traits can connect to multiple chakras. The throat chakra, challenges or uniqueness in verbal expression, right? Social language or communication. Crown chakra, heightened spiritual sensitivity, connection to higher realms, sometimes feeling otherworldly or misunderstood. And there's a person, a reader, I think he's called the Autistic Mystic, actually. I've watched a couple of his videos here on YouTube, but he's a beautiful representation of that spiritual sensitivity. He just has great energy. Third eye chakra, that's that deep inner world. It's also pattern recognition and intuition, which you'll often see with people who have autism. And they often need support from the root, all right? The root chakra. For those of you that may have a child or you yourself have autistic tendencies or traits, or you have been labeled autistic, grounding safety in the body, right? Regulation in overstimulating environments. Many people on the spectrum are considered highly sensitive or even energetically advanced. And some intuitive communities believe that many autistic individuals are tuned into higher frequencies and simply need different ways to process or express their energies, right? I feel like that's what it really does some too. So highly sensitive individuals, highly spiritual. Now ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. ADHD involves difficulty with focus. Squirrel, anyone? I feel like, I probably have some of these characteristics myself. Attention, regulation, impulsivity, hyperactivity. It's not from laziness or lack of intelligence, but from a brain wired for movement and stimulation. The primary chakras involved are the solar plexus chakra, difficulty with willpower, focus, follow through, and self-trust. The root chakra, trouble staying grounded, restlessness, need for physical movement, right? Restless leg syndrome. The third eye chakra, fast visionary thinking, big picture ideas can cause distractions from details. Sometimes my third eye feels overactive, and that can cause some of these ADHD symptoms within me where I'm constantly, I'm focusing on cleaning the living room, and then I get pulled into, excuse me. Then I get pulled into the kitchen and I start putting away dishes. And then, I still have some silverware to put away, but I get pulled to, I messed up the microphone here, guys. Then I get pulled into the bedroom and start folding clothes, right? So it can feel a bit scattered at times because that third eye chakra is, overstimulated even. And many with ADHD are idea generators, empaths, and visionaries. They often need creative ways to channel energy rather than suppress it, right? So that's what you have for ADHD and autism. And lastly here are a few tools and resources. Books that I recommend, these are my favorites. I have read them all. And ones that I refer back to, I haven't read them all from start to finish, but I've definitely looked at bits and pieces, go back into the index and find what you need. Sometimes these books are really hard to digest in one sitting. So You Can Heal Your Life, Louise Hay. Anatomy of the Spirit, Carolyn Mace. Cleanse to Heal, Medical Medium. He actually has a great selection of many of the books, the thyroid healing, all of it. So all of those books are wonderful. The Body Keeps Score, Bessel van der Kolk. Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom. You can probably see behind me my metaphysical bookshelf, but I absolutely love Christiane Northrup. And she has a few books, Goddesses Never Age, The Wisdom of Menopause, Mother-Daughter Wisdom, I believe, and Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom. So those are all really wonderful, wonderful books coming from, she is I think PhD. She has PhD as a gynecologist, a doctor, but she's also highly spiritual. So she blends the two. So you get the science and the spiritual, which is wonderful. And then, as I mentioned, the Medical Medium, all of his books in his series, Cleanse to Heal, are great. And then more practices to explore or dive into on your health journey if you haven't already. And I talk about these often, but EFT tapping, emotional pain stored in the body. So different tapping techniques. I mean, you can find this online as well, but basically it is taking your fingers and tapping on some of the points within the body. So look that up. TRE, tension and trauma releasing exercises. I suggest getting a practitioner, but you can also, I think, find some of those exercises on YouTube. And then what that does is it stimulates the body to tremor involuntarily, and your body, it looks like, you're having an exorcism, but it's really profound, and I really like it. I use it weekly. Reiki and energy healing, biofeedback and muscle testing, gentle breath work and vagus nerve stimulation. And then, of course, for those of you that enjoy journaling or deep introspection, and if you want some prompts that you can tap into and really connect to your higher self and connect to the parts of yourself that maybe you haven't asked these questions, such as, what is the symptom trying to teach me? What part of me needs love and attention right now? And so as I'm talking about these, I want you, if you can, to drop into the body, and I want you to take a look at wherever in your body right now feels a bit of pain, or you feel a bit uncomfortable or restless, and drop into that center and ask, what part of me needs this love and attention right now? Where in my body, what chakra is crying out? What is my body trying to tell you? Where do you still carry old pain in your body? What belief do you need to release to feel safe in your body? Where are you not living in alignment with your truth? So I want to close with this truth, Soul Tribe, that your body is not just the vessel for your soul, right? I don't even believe it's for our soul. I believe our body is just part of our soul. So it's not the other way around. Your body remembers what your mind tries to forget. It also remembers how to heal. This week, slow down. If something aches, pulses, or flares up, Don't just reach for a fix, which many of us do. Ask it a question, right? Why now? What do you need me to know right now? What have I been pushing through that I need to feel instead? Trust that your body is not working against you. It's working with you. Even the mystery symptoms that are here, they're not here to punish you. They're portals to back your own truth. So if this session brought something to you, if you learned something new, please do comment below. Let me know what you're going through right now. If you have any of the symptoms that we've discussed, let me know what you did to heal or what you are doing to heal. Drop it below because chances are you could help someone else today. So look in the comments. Even if you don't comment yourself, feel free to check out the comment section. And if you have any suggestions on topics that you would like me to dive into in these Soul Saturday sessions, please do drop them below. And again, if you know someone who could benefit from this information, please share it. Because as I mentioned earlier, we know that there is deeper rooted issues within our body, but we don't always know why or what to do or how to heal them. So sharing this content hopefully can help one other person today, then that's wonderful. Thank you so much for being here, Soul Tribe. I am sending all of you tons of love. Thank you again.